team further? Stroud or Love?
I think Love has a more difficult task because I think the NFC is a little bit more, you look at that's on division. They have the Lions in that division. They have Minnesota in that division. The Bears are also 4-2. Tampa Bay is in that conference. I think Stroud, but if you put my feet to the fire, I would probably take Jordan Love. I think they have the better defense. They have a better defense than the Texans. And so Stephen A., it's a toss-up. This is really hard for me because I think the Texans really, when you really look at it, you got the Steelers, you got the Ravens, maybe Buffalo, Cincinnati is coming. But I think you know what? I'm going to go Stroud. I'm going to go Stroud for the simple fact I think the road that in which he will have to travel, Baltimore and Baltimore and Kansas City, is probably the toughest, where they got about 5 or 6 teams.
Shannon Sharpe, I thought you said that you had bad hips or something. I didn't know you could dance like Fred Astaire. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could dance like Michael Jackson. That's what you just did. That's what you just did, Shannon. That's what you did. I ain't that time. I'm going to tell you why. The answer's love to this question. You took long enough to get there. You were dancing back and forth, man. That's what you did. And I'm going to tell you this. Here's why you can't go with Stroud, Shannon. Here's why you can't go with Stroud, bro. What? You can't go with Stroud because the offensive line can't protect him. He's getting pressured on 48% of his passes. Four defenders, 4 times last night, a defender was untouched pressuring C.J. Stroud. They haven't been protecting him all year. How you going to do something if you can't protect the quarterback? That's the worst game of C.J. Stroud's career, no question. You look at Jordan Love, he's got 8 interceptions on the year. That's not great. But in only 5 games he's played, the man got 15 touchdown passes. 15. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Jordan Love, and I would say, listen, I'm looking at the NFC. Yeah, Philly, you got to take into consideration with Saquon and all of that. But really, it's about Detroit and Minnesota right now and potentially Green Bay. That's why I say Jordan Love's the answer to this question.
What about Tampa? You don't like Tampa? Tampa went on the road and beat Detroit.
I do. I just think it's like Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield. I like what Baker Mayfield is doing, but he lost to Detroit in the playoffs. I think they would lose again to Detroit. I think that Green Bay, if it's at Lambeau Field, Green Bay would beat them as well. But I can't underestimate Tampa and Baker Mayfield. I'll give you that.
Well, obviously, we'll see him tonight facing the Ravens on Monday Night Football. I'm sorry, Shannon, go ahead.
You're right, Molly. Stephen A., it's hard because when you look at it, you look at the Ravens and how well they're playing. You look at Kansas City. Mahomes isn't playing well, but they're undefeated. That defense is really good. And you talk about pressure. The one thing we know, Spags will dial it up, and he can get to your quarterback to do a great job of stopping the run. And so when I look at the AFC,
against them potentially not being considered a Super Bowl contender, maybe not being in the top 5 challengers to the Chiefs conversation, was that they hadn't beaten a good team yet. Prior, they had wins against the Arizona Cardinals, the depleted LA Rams, the Tennessee Titans, and the Indianapolis Colts, even though those 2 wins came with their backup Malik Willis. But yesterday, getting that victory over the Houston Texans goes a long way for a lot of people when they consider whether or not the Green Bay Packers are Super Bowl contenders, guys.
Well, Smalls, your team is very interesting in this regard. Everybody looks at them and thinks about their franchise quarterback they gave a huge contract to in Jordan Love, as they should. He's great most of the time.
The interceptions.
They're a defense-first team. They are a defense-first team. They force turnovers. And did you see C.J. Stroud's numbers yesterday?
Awful.
Bad.
Well, you got to give the defense credit when a guy goes 10 of 21, 86 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, 5 carries, 19 yards, no touchdowns. C.J. Stroud, did absolutely nothing.
Career worst.
Well, I wouldn't say he did absolutely nothing. I mean, he led a 13-play drive at the end of the game that took up, 6.5 minutes of game clock? Almost killed the game.
Because he had to.
Almost won the game. So, I mean, for all of the bad that we got from Stroud yesterday, in that moment, he could have gotten a huge road win against a quality opponent in the Green Bay Packers. But I think it speaks volumes about Jordan Love in the Packers offense. And that's why I would push back on the notion that the Packers are a defense-led team, because a defensive-led team doesn't allow the opposing team to bleed the clock the way that we saw at the end of that fourth quarter, like we saw with the Houston Texans making that long drive and kicking a field goal to give them go-ahead points.
I'm a little concerned about the interceptions from Jordan Love, guys. This is the 5th straight game that he's thrown an interception.
True.
They have been able to overcome the turnovers, but I'm hoping that that's a trend that works itself out as the season goes on, because I don't know if that's something that is going to come back and bite them in the bubble. You know what I mean, CC?
I get what you're saying, but you're now talking about a guy that has thrown multiple touchdown passes in 9 straight games. I mean, that's the longest streak in the NFL.
You don't think they're sitting there regretting their move with Rodgers?
I don't think.
I don't think so.
Goody hasn't sat there. Brian Gutekunst, the general manager, be like, I really made a mistake on that.
I get where you're at with the turnovers, but I mean, Jordan Love is playing good football.
He is.
I mean, he's spreading it around to his receivers. I mean, Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, and Josh Jacobs getting involved. Like he's getting everybody the football and getting it to them in their spots where they can do damage. So I mean, there's a lot to like when you watch Jordan Love play, and to me, having the poise to meet the moment at the end of that game and see eye to eye with C.J. Stroud and come out on the right side of it, I think that's a testament to, you know, his ability and his confidence, and then everybody else believing that this guy's going to put them on the right side of things. Because the Houston Texans, I know this goes understated a lot, they are an outstanding team, both offensively and defensively, when it comes to end-of-half, end-of-game situations. We saw it in the Buffalo Bills game. Mm-hmm. The Green Bay Packers just beat the Texans at their own game. To me, there's something there. That's impressive. The NFC North, this division is going to go down to the wire.
Yep.
Because Jordan Love, to me, is the best quarterback in that division. Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions might be the most complete team in that division. And the Minnesota Vikings might have the most dominant unit in that division, which is their defense. So like, it is going to be fascinating to see who comes out on the right side of that thing. But I was really, really impressed with how the Packers won that game yesterday.
Yeah, for them to be sitting there at 5-2 and not be the best team in their division, that's what scares me the most, is the competition within the division. The Detroit Lions look awesome. Even in defeat yesterday, the Minnesota Vikings still a team that you need to be concerned with. I know last week, CC, you said that you thought the Packers would win the NFC North. Do you still feel that way, even after what we saw from the Lions yesterday?
Yes, I'm going to say I still feel that way, because as much as I like what's going on with the Detroit Lions, they're playing really, really good. I'm not sure if there's another gear there. With the Green Bay Packers, I absolutely know that they can get better. And the part that impressed me yesterday is that they won the game against a quality opponent, and they didn't have any takeaways on defense. This is a team going into Week 7 that led the league in takeaways. They had multiple takeaways in every single game they played in.
Yes.
Yesterday, the Texans offense starved them, no takeaways. And they still won the damn game. That's the sign of a good team. Having multiple pathways to winning, having a lot of different ways that you can get it done is a mark of a good team. And so I stand by the Green Bay Packers. They got the best quarterback-coach combination in the division. That goes a long ways to giving yourself a chance to get a division title at the end of the year.
And to your point, I don't think we've seen nearly the best of what the Green Bay Packers have to offer. I think we probably have with the Lions, and we probably have it to some degree with the Minnesota Vikings as well. We're still going to see, hopefully, an elevated version of what we see right now with the Packers, which should be scary.
I love the fact that the Packers basically conceded a field goal late. They worked all their timeouts to force Houston to take a field goal, so they actually, by design, could be down points late to give Jordan Love the ball to send it to a game winner or a game-winning field goal opportunity, which they did. That's the belief in the quarterback. But there's a flip side of this. So there was a moment yesterday, a couple of moments, there was some scuffling going on between Steph Diggs and Jair Alexander.
Oh, so good.
But listen,
so good.
You want to talk about understanding yourself? I actually give Steph Diggs a little bit of credit for that understanding of yourself. Here's Steph Diggs, Texans wide receiver, postgame on the little scuffle with Jair Alexander and the Packers.
I was walking to the locker room in the beginning of the game, and I heard somebody chirping, and I'm never the bigger person, so that's how I go with by myself or with a million. So I'm never the bigger person. I ain't letting go. You know, obviously they picked it up or whatever, but I ain't with the football tough guys.
He said he's never going to be the bigger person. Meaning he's not going to take the high road.
I love that.
I mean, at least you know. I mean, I give him credit.
I do too. be honest about who you are. Be transparent. If you don't want to take the high road, at least you're not pretending to be somebody who does.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I mean, the Green Bay Packers won a game where they should have won it, right? I mean, the Texans were down Nico Collins on offense and 5 starters on defense.
Yep.
You're supposed to win that game. Anytime the other team is missing 6 of the 22 starters, the home team should be able to, and they're on the road, the home team should be able to take care of their business. So the Green Bay Packers, it's a good win against a quality opponent, but let's not make it out to be anything other than it was. It was them checking the box when it comes to the teams on their schedule and teams that they should beat.
Oh, I think it's a little bit bigger than that.
No.
The Texans were really banged up.
They were really banged up.
But still, a great win.
Did CJ Stroud play yesterday? As long as CJ Stroud played, I'm considering it a big win.
They were missing a third of their starters. How is that not going to impact the team?
You have CJ Stroud, rightfully so and fairly so, as a top 5 QB in the league.
Agreed.
And that QB threw for less than 90 yards against Smalls' defense. That's a big win in my mind. I'm so quarterback focused at all times that if that guy's playing, regardless of who else is out there, and I hold him to that, that gets me some major confidence moving forward.